horrible murder on June 25th in northern New Jersey. A 19-year-old college student texts his mother that he's on his way home, but he never makes it. Investigators first describing the crime as random, possibly a robbery. But now the question, was it Islamic extremism? You're about to hear from the teen's grief-stricken parents, only right here on The Record. But first, the investigation into the murder of Brendan Tevlin.
Brendan Tevlin was hanging out with some friends, texted his mother saying he was on his way home, never made it.
Brendan Tevlin was shot to death in his car.
A suspect accused of murdering a 19-year-old says he did it as retribution for innocent lives lost in Iraq, Syria, and the rest of the Islamic world.
But court documents showed that the killer, Ali Muhammad Brown, was motivated by holy jihad.
And now, Allison and Michael Tevlin speaking only to On the Record about that terrible night their son was viciously murdered.
I was up. I wasn't panicked. He was, you know, just a kid who would always do the right thing. And he would have told me if he was going somewhere. So, and I wasn't panicking because I thought maybe on his way home he went to his buddy Anthony's, who lives catty-cornered to us. And sometimes he stops there and they hang on his deck. But then, you know, it got later and later. And then I never thought, not in this area, that something so horrific could have happened. I really was hoping that maybe he went to his friend Anthony's and, you know, time got away from him, or fell asleep, which would have been the first time ever. Like, he's just not that irresponsible, but still waited.
Were you up or waiting as well?
I was actually away. I was in Maryland with my younger son Brian at a lacrosse showcase, and he was actually in the dormitory, and you know, I got the phone call around 4:30, 5 o'clock, and
From
Allison. You know, the West Orange Police Department and the Prosecutor's Department came up and visited her, which is, you know, I never imagined how she felt. You know, I wasn't there, and it was tough.
So that's the first, so someone came to your door?
Doorbell rang, and my daughter had been up, and then my younger 13-year-old, doorbell rings at 4 o'clock in the morning. Everybody hears it, and then I just, you know, I could actually see the heads through the wooden door, the glass, as I was coming down the steps, and I just thought, still would never have thought what they told me. Thought maybe, you know, maybe
an accident.
Something happened.
Yeah,
an accident. Maybe he's in the hospital. Maybe something. And yeah, it's just.
What did they tell you the cold, horrible, ugly truth, or did they try to at least be gentle about it?
They were very nice. I knew one West Orange police officer. I've known him for years, and one of the other guys has known Michael for years, and I just could see on his face when I think I grabbed him and said, "Oh, no, not Brendan." And he said, "Yeah, it's Brendan, and he was murdered." I was thinking, murdered in West Orange, New Jersey? I just, and then kind of turns into a big blur because they were on their mission to find out what was going on. And
well, that's no news. A parent should never have to give another parent, is it?
Yeah, I was sound asleep. I thought it was a bad dream. I had to wake up, put my head under water, and call her back. I said, "I got to call you back." What do you mean? You know, Brendan's dead. What do you know? And you know, as a father, and you know what she was going through, I just, you know, I wasn't there. So, you know, it was tough.
Yeah, that trip home.
Yeah, 3-hour trip home was not easy, but you know, my driving home was just to make sure we got home safe. Me and my son Brian, and you know, I didn't tell Brian. I just, you know, I had to take him out of the dormitory at 5 in the morning or 6 in the morning, and he was like, "Dad, what's going on?" I said, "Something happened to Brendan." "Dad, what happened? What happened?" You know, it was an accident. You know, I couldn't tell him what actually happened because it would have been a really tough ride home. And he wasn't happy I didn't tell him, but I'm thankful I didn't, because he ended up going to sleep, and it was time for me to reflect and think about what happened.
In our conversation with Brendan Tevlin, he has made statements saying that he was doing this as revenge for what's going on in Iraq and Syria and Afghanistan.
I don't, in our opinion, he is a murderer, and in this case I don't think he acted alone, and whether down the road the law enforcement comes to the conclusion that he is involved with something bigger, or whether he's self-proclaiming this for some other reason, is up for I figure the truth will come out through the three.
Yeah, I mean, it's a complicated case, and they're still really working hard on it to find the whole truth to this. So.
Does it make a difference? I mean, I know that to everyone else, this is a domestic terrorism, or is he just saying that makes a big difference to the community? But does it make a difference? Does it have any impact on either one of you in any way, or not?
I don't think it makes that much of a difference at this time. I think he murdered Brendan, and he murdered several others, and he is an American. He did what he did, and like I said, he didn't act alone. So I don't know if we have all the information, or enough information to make that kind of judgment. It's really not for us to make that judgment.
Yeah. I mean, do I think he was there to kill somebody? Yes, without a doubt. He definitely that night was looking to kill somebody. He changed his clothes, put the fatigues on. He was there to do what he did and what he accomplished. In some ways, I think, why was it Brendan? If it wasn't Brendan, it was going to be somebody else. So some way Brendan saved somebody's life, because somebody was dying that night, and I believe that.
We all come to this very differently. You have the most pain, you're the family, and it's hard not to feel the pain even from the outside. I think everybody does. But the thing that's so hard is like the cruelty of it. Just a kid driving a car down the street, 19 years old. That's what's really hard. And I think that's why we all reach for the motive.
Yeah, and that's understandable. I mean, I'll be honest with you, I really haven't thought too much about the people who did this. I mean, and we've been trying to just stay positive and think about, how to remember Brendan. I think the law enforcement's going to come to a conclusion, and they're working very hard on it. And I guess that's when we're all going to find out the truth, what happened.
And as you saw, we spoke with the Tevlins on the Seton Hall Prep athletic field, where Brendan played lacrosse, and Allison and Michael Tevlin told us more about their son's life. His father or his mother? Who'd he take after?
He was...
I think a good mix.
Yeah, probably a good mix. He got the
easygoing side from me.
Is that right? Is he easygoing?
The smarts from Allison.
Okay, I'll take that. His definite, work ethic, and knowing that, we told him when he asked us if he could go to Seton Hall Prep, we were thinking, oh, he's the oldest of 4, might be a stretch. And so when we sent him, we said, there's a lot of people who go there who it's no big deal, but for you it's a big deal, and it's a privilege for you to be there. So you have to make the most of it. You have to really do what you want to do, and he did. He accomplished everything he wanted to accomplish, and he was, like I said, so proud to get into his colleges and become a Richmond Spider, and I think
a Richmond what?
Spider.
Spider?
The Spiders, I know.
The Richmond Spiders. Well, there you go.
University of Richmond.
And he was just that kid. All 4 years, he was just joined. He was really just such a participant. He loved everything. He loved being down there, and he loved working with all the programs he worked with.
You know, over there, about 50 yards off here, is the place where Brennan learned the bagpipes. It's the Friendly Sons of the Shillelagh Club. He learned the bagpipes there at a young age. He was 10 years old from John Bradley. And the band he played in, the Extra Shillelagh Pipes and Drums, you know, meet up there and practice, as well as a bunch of other organizations. But you know, that's kind of a little bit of a focal point for us as a family and a life. It's you know, the Irish American. It's pretty much a Essex County Irish Cultural Center there. But so it's this field, and to name this field after him, and the proximity where he practiced and learned the bagpipes would just mean so much to us.
The Tevlins are absolutely wonderful people.